Welcome to Book Club Preview. I'm Michael, and today we're looking at Charlie Thorne and the Lost City, Chapter 10 and 11. Now, this chapter starts off with the bike chase, Ivan driving his car, or his SUV, trying to catch Charlie. And Charlie's weaving through people and weaving through streets, and Ivan's kind of following in his SUV. And Charlie's making some distance, and she cuts through this crowd and kind of goes through people, and Ivan has to kind of go around the long way. And she feels like she's making a lot of progress when suddenly this other vehicle, this silver sedan, comes up to Charlie and starts following her too. Now, out out pedaling one car, not impossible, but Charlie felt like she could do it. Escaping two cars, that was almost impossible. And so Charlie was going down alleys and going down narrow roads, but the cars kept following her on each side. She even turned her bike around and started going back up the mountain or the hill, but Ivan just U-turned. He smashed into a fire hydrant. Water squirted out, and he kept chasing her. The silver sedan kind of disappeared, but Ivan's just on her tail, catching up, because going downhill, not that bad on a bike. Going uphill, Charlie's using all her energy, and she just got done climbing up this huge spire, so her muscles are pretty tired, and she's just trying her best. And she jumps into a park, and she starts riding down a park path, and Ivan just puts the SUV right on the park and just starts to get really close, almost catching Charlie. She decides, I've got to do something. And she sees this really big highway that actually has 3 lanes. And so two lanes are going one way, and maybe one's going another. Or maybe 3 lanes are all going one way. Don't know. But there's a lot of traffic. And so Charlie thinks about it. If I can squeeze through these cars and get to the other side, I'll be free. It's really risky. But she uses her brain, and she sees the numbers, and she sees the path, and she's right now. And she jumps in through the car lane and just goes choo, 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 and rides her bike straight through it. The cars, I imagine, stopped or honked their horn. Ivan followed her and crashed into a bunch of different cars. And unfortunately, though, SUVs are pretty tough. It didn't break the car, so he was able to pull backwards and still follow her. Now, Charlie's going down this really steep mountain path into this kind of older area of the city, and she's kind of going down and just going really fast, and then the silver sedan comes, and Charlie is so surprised to see that silver sedan that she doesn't notice a chicken walking in the path. And so Charlie sees the chicken. Now, if she would have just ran over it, she probably would have been okay. But Charlie tries to skid and dodge the chicken, and her tire hits a root, and she tumbles and falls. And she's pretty hurt. The silver sedan opens up the door, and it's Dante Garcia and Milana Miranda. And they say, Charlie, if you want to live for the next 5 minutes, get in. Charlie's not that happy to see the CIA, but she's excited to have some help. And he jumps in the car. Chapter 11 starts off with just giving us some background, some real background, with Esmeralda Castello. And we learn actually a lot about her father. Mr. Castello was obsessed with the Darwin treasure. And the Castello family, they were descendants of someone that was originally on the Beagle ship that Darwin and Fitzroy had sailed. And so that relative passed down to his son, oh, there was some treasure there, but we don't know what. And the son passed down to his son, oh, there was some treasure with Darwin and Fitzroy, but we never found out what. And that son passed it down, or mom or uncle, whatever, passed it down to Mr. Costello, who made it his passion to find the treasure. And he lost his reputation, he lost all their money, he got divorced. Doesn't sound like a very good dad. But Esmeralda and her brothers really loved her father. Her father was finally diagnosed with cancer. He's about ready to die. And he followed every letter, every lead he could to find the treasures. And as he's dying, he kept writing emails to one family that had letters from their great-great-great-grandfather or whoever that was on the ship. And so Mr. Costello said, I'm a historian, please photocopy the letters for me so I can use them as my research. And they finally sent him this package. He's on his deathbed. They sent him this package of all these letters. And he goes through 1, 2, 3, 4, nothing. And then the last one has a hint. And it has 3 hints. 1, it confirms that there was a treasure. 2, it talks about an island, I think. And 3, it talks about all the communication being destroyed. And so there were 3 major hints in the letter. And actually, I'm not sure if those were the 3 major ones. I think they were. But those hints made Mr. Costello think, oh, it's true. I found it. I found the proof. And then Esmeralda hears her dad, and he explains all this stuff. And she says, oh, but Dad, it could be this. And he gives a reason. Oh, Dad, but what about this? And he gives a reason. And so even though she tries to discourage her dad's evidence, he gives her reasons, which she starts to get motivated with. And then right before Mr. Costello dies, he says, Esmeralda, actually he's really happy, says, promise me that you'll continue my journey, that you will find the treasure. Go to the Galapagos Islands and find the sea turtle. Whoa. Esmeralda's thinking, Dad, that's a huge thing you're asking me. I have to give up my life, go to some tiny islands. Esmeralda, promise me. She says, yes, Dad, I promise you. And he dies. And so Esmeralda and her brothers go to the Galapagos Islands. Her brothers get jobs. She starts volunteering at the research center. And she's not actually happy at the Galapagos Islands. She pretends to be happy. She acts very charming. But inside, she hates this place. She wants to go back to Italy, to her beautiful city, to the delicious wine and delicious food, and the culture and the art. But she's stuck here. Oh, she's very unhappy. Until the day that they find the turtle with the writing on it. And that day, she can see the clue, she has the evidence, and her mindset changes. And even finding Charlie Thorne, who can change and decipher the code and go take her to the Devil's Stone. Esmeralda actually is really good at climbing, so she climbs up and takes a picture of the stone too. And then she has the letters, and she knows how to solve the letters. Her and her brothers go to a cafe, and she uses some code to solve whatever the letters say, or the numbers. And then they take off to wherever Darwin's clue leads. And that is how chapter 11 ends. Let me hit some vocabulary first. Bore her down. Oh man, that's like driving or running really fast, kind of going over someone. Boring them down, of just going fast and running them over. Veered is to turn really suddenly and sharply. Hawked. This means to sell with your voice. Hey, come over here. Look at this beautiful fruit I have. Oh, it's so delicious. Come buy some. Vying is like competing. People are trying to get a really good position and they're kind of pushing each other, vying for a good spot. This word, I've never seen it spelled, but I've heard it pronounced many times, slalomed. If you think about a skier in the Olympics has the slalom course where they are going down the hill through the flags. And that's kind of what Charlie was doing through the people on her bike, slaloming through the crowd. Fishtailed, this is the car as Ivan's chasing Charlie Thorne back up the hill. Fishtail is when the back of the car goes a little bit uncontrollably. It kind of goes back and forth like a fish's tail. Jounced, I've never seen this word before, but I guess it's like bounce or jolted. So she's kind of jouncing, I guess. Squandered means to waste. You can squander your money or squander your talent, squander your mind, but also wasting it in a foolish way. Decrepit is old and sick and your body's very weak. Decrepit. Destitute means very extremely poor, no money. The lash, that's a punishment. So on a boat, if you do something wrong, the captain gets to punish you. And the punishment, there are many different kinds, but the worst one, except for death, was to be whoopsh, 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 lashed. And so Jefford, he asked his family, please burn this letter, because if Fitzroy finds it, then he will whoopsh, lash me. Give me that punishment. Docile is calm, easy to obey something. And the animals on the Galapagos Islands were like, human. They didn't care. They didn't run away. They weren't afraid. Parlayed. I've heard this word often used with pirates. A parlay means they're about ready to kill you. We say, I choose parlay. Let me talk to the captain. And the pirates would let you talk to the captain, who would then kill you or let you go free or whatever. But in this case, it meant something different. It meant winning some money and then using that money to gamble for a bigger reward. And so Esmeralda, she volunteered at the Galapagos Island Center and she got connected with some people and she used that win to then get her a full-time job on the island, which is a bigger reward. That leaves us to my discussion question. I'm going to be honest, I was going to ask you who's driving the silver sedan, but we already figured it out. It was Dante. But my question for you is, have you ever, kind of like Mr. Costello, had an obsession? Now, probably not nearly as crazy as him, but maybe for a week or a few days. Oh, you just really loved this one thing or whatever. You had some obsession. What was it? And of course, please make your own discussion question. That is all the time that we have for today, but thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Book Club Preview. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Hey, if you have any questions about the video today, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. If you had any other vocabulary words that you wanted to know what they meant, let me know. And also, if you're interested in maybe joining one of these book clubs, please leave a comment and I'll get back to you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.